This week, I faced a work challenge that had me considering updating my resume. I baked muffins that might have changed my life and realized I've been completely overlooking one of my biggest gifts. Oh, and I also had a run-in with my old nemesis, social media. But here's the thing. Every single one of these moments held a lesson I wasn't expecting.
Hey there, I'm Melissa, time management coach, writer, Jesus lover, and creator of the Wealthy Mama Journal. Around here, we don't chase perfect, we chase peace. This is where faith meets focus and where I help busy moms like you manage your time without losing your mind. If you're tired of color-coded chaos and want to be rich in what matters most, spoiler, it's not laundry, then you're in the right place. Are you ready? Let's get into it.
If you've been feeling overwhelmed, stuck in a cycle of exhaustion, or just wondering how to get unstuck from the habits that keep pulling you back, this episode is for you. We're talking about pushing through when you want to quit, recognizing hidden opportunities, and finally getting out of your own way. Progress. The Excel model that almost took me out. Have you ever had a work task that should take a few hours, but somehow it turned into a 4-day mental marathon? That was me with an Excel model from the depths of corporate purgatory. Attempt number 1, macros aren't working. Attempt number 2, I had to employ manual updates just to understand what was happening. Attempt number 3, existential crisis. Somewhere between redoing the entire thing twice and convincing myself that I needed a new career, I found myself wondering if I should actually go looking for my resume. I know, dramatic, but I got through it. And not by sheer force of will. It was absolutely a mix of prayer, stubbornness, and the realization that quitting was not the answer. Progress doesn't always feel good, but every time we push through the hard, we prove to ourselves that we can handle more than we think. Muffin Mastery with Eden. If I could bottle and sell the feeling of baking lemon blueberry muffins with my daughter, I would. Because listen, those muffins were transcendent. The blueberries, perfectly distributed. Thank you, YouTube, for teaching us how to toss them in the dry mix. The lemon zest, it was doing the most in the absolute best way possible. And even my son Jackson, the kid who lives for a brutally honest food review, paused mid-bite and said, "Y'all made these?" "Excuse me, sir? Yes, we did. And we put our whole foot in that batter." Beyond the muffins, this was one of those rare, slow moments that reminded me why I love cooking with my kids. But it also highlighted the fact that my kitchen is a bit of a disaster zone. Will I reorganize it? Absolutely not. This is how we get ourselves in trouble and put more on our plates. It's not the time. I'm already in the middle of a million other things. But this lemon blueberry moment that we created, it was totally worth the mess. The gym in Antarctica. You won't believe this, but I willingly went to the gym, not 1, not 2, but 3 times. One of those days was in freezing temperatures. Who am I? Have I been cloned? Here's the real kicker. I actually enjoyed it. I think this might be a new era for me. One day, I'll tell you how God tricked me into getting a gym membership. But for now, just know that He always knows exactly what we need before we do. And can we be real? I would not have chosen this for myself. But here I am, and weirdly, I'm kind of liking it. Lessons. Surround yourself with obedient people. You ever have someone randomly reach out and say something exactly when you needed to hear it? This week, a friend I've only met once in person sent me a voice note about a podcast episode she thought I should listen to. She didn't overthink it. She just followed the nudge. And that message, oh my gosh, that message changed my life. It was exactly what I needed in that moment. Confirmation, encouragement, and clarity wrapped in a few minutes of audio. Obedience isn't just about us. It's about what God wants to do through us. I tell my kids all the time, the 5 people you surround yourself with shape your success. But true success, it's peace, joy, obedience, and love. When I forget who I am, my people remind me. So I have to ask, God is sending the right people, but who are you keeping? We're going to let that sit and simmer, okay, friend? Your gifts might be hiding in plain sight. Lately, God has been sending me clients who aren't solely focused on time management. Instead, they're women who feel unfulfilled and want to get closer to God. And do you know what I've been doing with them? I can't believe I'm even saying this. Journaling. At first, I didn't get it. Why was he shifting my focus? Then it hit me. The common thread in everything I do, journaling, time blocking, brain dumping, goal setting, is writing things down. For years, I've helped women clear mental clutter, organize their lives, and actually see what matters. But because writing comes naturally to me, I never actually thought of it as one of my gifts. This is why we overlook our strengths. We assume the things that feel effortless aren't special. But sometimes the obvious thing, that's the thing you're meant to lean into. So I'm doing just that. Work with your energy, not against it. We always hear, work smarter, not harder. But here's the twist. What if working smarter isn't just about strategy, but about aligning with your natural energy? This week, I experimented with time blocking a little bit differently. Instead of cramming my calendar from sunup to sundown, I only scheduled what mattered, but I strategically placed it in spots that naturally aligned with my energy. And guess what? I was actually creating momentum throughout the day by getting some of those bigger things out of the way when I had the most energy. And the best part is I didn't feel drained in the afternoon. Because when you work with your energy instead of against it, productivity doesn't feel like a fight. It just flows. Adversities, the social spiral. I told myself I earned a break after 4 days of Excel-induced suffering. What did I do with that break? Something relaxing, you ask? Something restorative? No. I fell straight into the Facebook and binge-watching trap. It started small, of course, just checking notifications. But we all know how that story goes. One scroll turned into 5 minutes, which turned into 30 minutes. And then after an hour, I was like, I might as well start a new show now. Next thing I knew, it was 2 a.m. Of course, I woke up feeling like complete trash. Not just physically, but mentally. Because I knew better. Exhaustion doesn't care about logic. You don't deserve to stay up late after an exhausting day. You deserve rest. But sometimes we sabotage ourselves in the name of treating ourselves. If I really want to reward myself, I need to stop mistaking self-destruction for self-care. Losing my patience with the kids. I try not to yell, not just for my kids, but for me. But this week, I had no energy left for patience. I blew up at them, not because of anything in particular that they did, but because I was running on fumes. And the moment it happened, I felt awful. Not because I yelled. Parents, let's be real. Sometimes they deserve a firm tone. But because I knew I could have handled it better if I had rested. So I did what I always do. I apologized. I explained why I lost my patience and linked it to my lack of sleep so they could start making that connection for themselves. Because if we let shame and pride parent for us, our kids won't learn how to handle their own missteps. I don't need them to think I'm perfect. I just need them to know what to do when they get it wrong. My brain after finishing the model equals fried. When I tell you my brain shut down after I finished that Excel model, I mean it. I had nothing left to give. My decision-making ability, gone. Motivation, non-existent. I turned into a full-on couch potato. Meanwhile, my husband, who somehow thrives on 3 hours of sleep, was out here working a 12-hour day like it was nothing. Me? I barely had the energy to move from one side of the couch to the other. I can't even be mad. This was my fault. I kept saying I need to prioritize sleep, but clearly I'm not actually doing it. This cycle, push hard, burnout, recover, repeat, has to stop. So this is me saying it loud and not proud. Hold me accountable. Next week, we're fixing this. What's next? The final session of the Clarity Collective. I can't believe it's been 7 weeks already. This group of women is absolutely phenomenal. For our last session, each woman is going to present one slide on what she's accomplished during our time together. And we're not just listening, we are celebrating the heck out of each other. Because here's the thing, we don't celebrate ourselves enough. We move from one goal to the next without taking a second to acknowledge the progress we've made. Not this time. No. This final session isn't just about finishing strong. It's about recognizing the work, the growth, and the shifts that happened along the way. I hope they're ready for a party because we are cutting all the way up. 7 weeks down, transformation unlocked. My Facebook exit plan. I'm leaving Facebook soon, and it's starting to feel very real. My Clarity Collective program that kept me on the platform is ending, so now I have a choice. 1, do I disable my account? 2, do I delete it entirely? Or 3, do I just take a break and see how it feels? Part of me wants to pull the plug and never look back, but another part knows that I've built real relationships here. So before I make a final decision, I'm spending this week figuring out a transition plan. Because here's what I don't want: to leave in a way that feels rushed or reactive. I know for sure that I want to do it intentionally. Helping my kids find hobbies that aren't screens. I want my kids to have things they love getting lost in. But these days, screens are winning. Eden is easy. She loves everything arts and crafts. Give her a glue stick, some yarn, and scissors, and she's set. Jack's a little trickier. He loves technology, which means I have to get creative. This week, I'm going to be paying close attention to what lights him up. What does he talk about without being prompted? What makes him forget to ask for his laptop? I don't want to force a hobby on him. I want to help him find the thing that makes him come alive. This is my next parenting challenge. If you have any advice, let me know. And as always, pray for me. Final thoughts. This week, I learned quite a few things. 1, noticing your patterns is more powerful than shaming yourself for them. 2, curiosity leads to change faster than criticism ever will. And 3, self-awareness beats self-judgment every time. It's easy to default to beating yourself up when you fall short, to get frustrated at yourself for scrolling too much, losing patience, or pushing too hard and burning out. But what if we just paid attention instead? Instead of asking, why am I like this? Ask, what is this telling me? Instead of spiraling into guilt, observe the pattern. Instead of assuming you're failing, ask, what can I learn from this? Growth isn't about being perfect. It's about paying attention and adjusting as you go. So this week, please be kind to yourself. Notice, adjust, keep moving forward. Because real progress happens when we stop trying to force change and start understanding ourselves instead.
Thanks for hanging out with me on the Wealthy Mama podcast. My hope is that something today gave you that little nudge towards peace, focus, or maybe just a good laugh at my expense? Because let's be real, life's messy, and that's where God does his best work. If you want more of this blend of faith, focus, and figuring it out as we go, head to my Substack. It's where I continue to share the real, raw, and slightly sarcastic thoughts I don't always say out loud. Until next time, keep chasing peace, practicing grace, and showing up for the life God's calling you to. Now go be wealthy, Mama.